Back to the big story today out of Fairfax County. Johnny Depp takes the stand. His testimony against his ex-wife continued today. We learned a lot more about their broken marriage and why Depp is suing her. Let's talk about the trial and what we could see next with legal analyst Carlos Lastra, who's live with us tonight. So, Carlos, we've been watching this very carefully, very closely because of the local implications here. But as you look at this for the broader scale, what have we learned about this marriage and what led to this trial?
Well, Jim, this was a blockbuster day today. After practicing for 30 years, it doesn't get old. And Johnny Depp delivered today. We got to hear a harrowing detail how Amber threw across the room a tequila bottle, severing his finger, and the whole drama behind trying to locate the tip of the digit. And then we heard in excruciating detail how he had a surgeon take a graft out of the side of his hand and reattach it to the tip of his finger. And the jury got to actually see the finger. And this was followed up by an audio tape in which we actually heard Amber in her own voice admitting to punching Johnny. Now, she said, "I didn't mean to hurt him," but it was an admission and the damage was done. Frankly, in my opinion, Johnny has established that he's the victim of domestic violence and that men can be the victims of domestic abuse.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Carlos, because, you mentioned the detail, and we've certainly heard so much about that today. And there are people watching this who, are not Hollywood celebrities, who are not millionaires, but these are common threads that unfortunately pervade our society, no matter where you come from.
Absolutely. And after having basically, for the last 22 years, doing exclusively family law, including high-end celebrity divorces, the first thing you understand, especially when there's domestic violence, is that this cuts across all strata, socioeconomic, gender, it doesn't matter. They have the same issues, and we got to see that today.
Carlos, we know that we're going to hear from Amber Heard very soon here in this trial as well, because clearly, this lawsuit, everybody deserves their day in court. They deserve to have their side heard. How long do we think this is going to last for, and what could change the opinions of people once Amber Heard takes the stand?
Well, that's a very, very good question. Well, we know it's supposed to take 6 weeks. One of the things that Amber has to drill down on, and something that her team needs to deal with in cross-examination, is they need to deal with the violence. They need to explain that head on. Johnny did a very good job today of explaining that domestic violence, and Amber has, and her team has the groundwork to be able to deal with that because he admitted that he put his hands on her. That is great fodder. In addition to that, Amber's team has to deal with the drug use because it has affected, and they will argue, and this is what I would argue if I'm handling the case, it has affected his ability to be able to remember what happened and actually perceive these events. They can argue he was in a drug-induced haze and really can't tell you what really occurred.
Yeah, and again, very familiar refrains for people who follow all sorts of these trials, whether they be high profile or not. Carlos Lastra, thank you so much for your insight tonight.